Oh, this meeting to order. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Fish that into here. All right, roll call, please.
Carrie is excused. Paul Cuny,
Present.
Joe Latte,
Here.
Robert Laraway,
Here.
Brett Peavy,
Here.
Carol Shannon here, Dave Torgerson.
Here. We have a quorum. Agenda, anything to add? To discuss? If not, we'll accept it as unanimous consent. Consent agenda. Anything you want to take out to discuss or talk? If not, Chair will entertain a motion.
Make a motion.
Second. Okay, PV moves that we accept the consent agenda, seconded by Latte.
Second.
Joe already seconded.
No, good.
You gotta do it next time then.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries. Apparently, last week I forgot, or last meeting, I forgot to reappoint Amy Irvin to the Planning Commission, so with your approval, she's already on it. I'd like just to reappoint her. She would have been the one that I just forgot. It was mixed up.
She willing to do so, obviously.
Yeah, she's willing to do so. She's chairing it now, so. Any discussion? Does that meet with everybody's approval? Any objections? Okay. That would be it for me. Yeah, plus thanking against the planning commission's doing yeoman's work. They're doing a lot of work. Thank you very much. Okay, Miss Manager.
You have my report in your packet. I just wanted to briefly update you on the fireworks. We raised $5,200 this year. That is down from the last few years, but our show did go off without any major complications. There was one small hitch, which was there was a fire on the berm side, closest to the lake, but they were able to put that out without the assistance of the fire department. So that was good. I have done a village-wide sweep for code enforcement activity. I'm in the process right now of logging them all in. There were several grass complaints and vehicle complaints that I found. We do have, I talked to you guys about one that was possibly going to court that I thought I might need to issue a ticket, but after speaking to our legal counsel, they said that because that case did not clean up what they were supposed to clean up in the first place from the first judgment, we are going to be able to just reopen that case back up. We do have three other cases that are on their third and final notice, and on their notices this month, they also got that the next one will be a civil infraction. Should we not hear anything or we do not see that it has been taken care of. We've had 5 zoning permits come in the past month, all for small projects. We do have one, as of this report, there was one house waiting. They did receive their well and septic. I'll be going out tomorrow to measure. And then that will be another house that will be coming into Lake Isabella this year. Bundy.
Oh, is it Bundy?
I think it's Bundy.
Where's Castle? You think of something else? The Sellers?
Is it Castle?
I think Sellers is Castle. The Bundy one is the one that keeps coming in and asking about.
It's Castle. I attached the city PD stats for June for your review. Our Isabella County officer, Officer McCullum, started Monday. He's very easy to work with, and I will say that his first stop in Lake Isabella unfortunately did result in a speeding ticket. So but other than that, he's had nothing but positive reviews from residents that he's met so far. Following the June 23rd Village Council meeting, we continued exploring long-term solutions for managing the brush pile. Brent submitted equipment and management options for consideration. And then we did finally get back with or Livermore finally got back with us and did finally say that, yes, they are on board for a burn. However, we needed to wait for rain. We did get some rain finally today. I don't know if it's enough for what they need to do. I don't think so, but I am going to reach out to him tomorrow morning to see. At this point, if the summer continues the way it's gonna continue, we're probably not gonna be able to do this until the fall. However, I believe, and I'll let Jerry speak to this a little more in his report, having the brush pile by appointment only has slowed down the growth immensely, so we'll more than likely continue that through the fall until we can get the fire department out there. The cityhood update, the goal was to obtain at least 100 valid petition signatures, with the understanding that we wanted a few additional, just in case there were some signatures that, were deemed invalid. Our last meeting determined that we had 89 signatures with approximately 10 additional signatures. Since then, we've had 8 additional signatures, bringing us up to 97. And I believe with Jeff working on a few more of his, we should have over 100 by the end of this month and definitely by the end of next month. If that's the case, I'll probably collect all the remaining petitions that we have, and then we will take them to Denise Littlewood. The public safety ballot language was submitted to Mindy at the county, and she has it planned to go on the November ballot. And other than that, that is my report.
Any questions, anybody? Okay.
Yeah. This might be something for the fireworks committee, but I was curious on how many square feet do we need for like a launch site? You know what I mean? Like how many, like instead of a barge, I mean, we have some spots in our lake, I thought we could just set up a dock out there. If it's only 3 foot deep, you can just set up a dock just for fireworks out there in the shallows.
When I went out there, because I went out there and saw, I would say they had it from, I would say it was probably about 50 feet
Along the berm.
along the berm this way.
So maybe
So 10
50
and
by
about,
8,
yeah,
wide.
only 10 feet
Yeah.
wide,
Yeah.
if that.
yeah, that's doable. I know there's a spot out there in the middle that's
Yeah,
like right
yeah.
out in front of your house.
Yeah, right.
that You can just set a dock up.
It's only knee deep.
Yeah. Set a temporary dock up just for fireworks.
I mean, if we could put a dock off of, I mean, we'd still have to be at least the 750 feet away from a dwelling. But if we could find a spot and just, we
Yeah.
could put a dock anywhere. It'd be nice. I don't know how deep it is by the dam. I don't know if there's any spots.
Oh, that's too deep.
Too deep,
Yeah.
too deep,
You
yeah,
can't do it there.
even a floating dock.
Well, no, those guys don't want
Because I
that.
needed it to go out far enough, but yeah, it still would have to maintain that 700 to 750 if we want to go with a larger.
I was just curious.
But that's a good
like,
idea.
looking For options. I can find a shallow spot out there.
Yeah, you might want to add that to your list for fireworks.
Find it in the winter time, GPS lock it, and then go out there in the summer.
Correct.
Set.
Yep.
I mean. We could.
And we
get
could
going
even
in
take,
Docks pretty easy.
you could take a rangefinder and find it out too,
Yeah.
where it's away something, everything. Yeah, I'd do that with me. That'd be for worthwhile. Anything else? Okay. We have a legislative update. From our intern.
My name is Karis Wolf. I am the new intern here and I have a list of bills and past acts that are recent in the legislature. So we have 3 packages of legislation and then 1 Senate bill. So the first pack of legislation is Public Acts 19 and 20. This passed just last month at the middle of June. This is setting a uniform start date for all elected officials' terms. So following the election of each elected official's election, they can start no later than December 1st. So the first day of the first month after their election, and any sort of individual selected to fill a vacancy, their election must be certified by an appropriate board of canvassers before they are selected to fill the seat. And this set of legislation just makes sure that all overseas ballots and absentee ballots are accounted for. That way our service members overseas can have their voice heard in elections. And then the next set of legislation is House Bills 529 to 532, 5532, and then 5581 to 5585. These are all House bills that are a series of statewide zoning reform bills. Key reforms in the package just include prohibiting local municipalities from requiring minimum lot sizes greater than a specific amount of footage, capping minimum dwelling unit sizes and parking space requirements on dwellings, requiring local governments to permit duplexes by right in single family zones, and establishing a 60-day window for local governments to approve or reject site plans. So these bills are currently awaiting debate in the House Government Operations Committee. The next set of legislation on the docket is Senate Bill 884. Senate Bill 884 is a proposed amendment to the Michigan Zoning Enabling Act. This amendment seeks to change the mandatory public notice for local government zoning hearings from 15 to 7, so cutting the time that you have to post hearings to half of what it originally was. And this is still waiting debate in the local government committee, Senate Local Government Committee. And then House Bills 5872 to 5880. These are a series of proposed property and excise tax reform bills. So these reforms include preventing a property's taxable value from increasing upon sale, repealing state real estate transfer tax, and exempting all personal property tax on business machinery and tools. These bills have passed the House of Representatives and they're waiting for their debate in the Senate Government Operations Committee. That is all for the legislative update. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you.
Down, Karis.
Any questions for anybody? Okay. Seeing none. We'll go on to the DPW. That would be you.
We're gaining quite well on these ditches, trying to get them cut back far enough so we can see better, and it helps out a lot. I do got help now. And with the chipper, it's been tons better. I mean, I can't thank enough to have it. And I did get to look at the airport trees the other day. And it is quite a mess over there. We could start at any time. Depends on when we can get a hold of them. But yeah, we're willing to start that right away. Get that back down.
Okay. Have you had many people dumping back there?
No, we're just random, and plus on the south side of the gate, I moved them rocks a little bit more so people can access through the bags better, a
Oh,
little safer.
yeah.
So that's helped out a lot. Yeah, they've trimmed out back quite a bit. I guess there's been a lineup on weekends trying to get.
Okay,
Our neighbors.
yeah. All right, thank you. Any questions? Okay. Public hearings. We have none. Public comments? There's only one public here, nope, okay. Existing business, airport update. Spendy.
So I gave you a brief history of what happened, you know, in the past. Tim already has given that to you as well. We haven't made a formal motion on where to go with the airport yet. That is something that we will have to decide once the airport association gets their LLC in place. Our attorneys have been talking. The lease should be almost done. Once the lease is completed, it will come to you. We should send it to our attorney for review, and then it'll be sent back. Our original MDOT grant obligations have finally expired. We need to have discussions that are focused on transitioning control and ownership, if that is what the council wishes. And like I said, to date, the airport association in the village, it remains ongoing. They did voluntarily pay the $1,800 towards the airport insurance. And at this time, we're waiting. Should we want to move forward after we get the lease? Because if it was my understanding, the lease was supposed to be just something to hold over until the possible transfer of the ownership completely to them, and then there wouldn't be a lease. So moving forward, once we get the lease and we have a chance to talk as a council, if you did want to relinquish that to the Airport Association, there would need to be a public notice, a public hearing, and then the council would have to have a 2/3 vote in favor of that at the following the hearing, based on what our charter says.
So we're waiting on them to form their LLC first?
They have it completed. They're working on their lease agreement.
Okay, so they have done the LLC.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yep. We did get our MDOT airport inspection, which you have in your packet as well. The runway approach is obstructed, which is what Supervisor Johnson was talking about. So our last grant through MDOT was to clear the trees on a property across the street. Is that School Road?
Mhm.
On School Road. And we retain the easement rights to that property indefinitely, so we have to give the owners of record notice of 20 days before we go on the property, but we can then cut and cap trees to make sure that the runway is, there's nothing obstructing the runway. There was no designated airport parking areas, so airport manager Corser went out and hung a couple signs that said, here's our parking. The same way with the airport identification entrance sign, so he hung a sign. We did have a new inspector this year. We've had the same inspector for many, many years. There's a couple things that I will be speaking with him about because one of them being our runway lighting. We've had the same runway lighting for at least 10 years, if not longer. We got it from, I believe, the Traverse City Airport. And it's never been an issue on any of our past inspections. However, this year they said that our existing runway edging light does not comply and that we have to have a variance to even have put those lights in. So I'm not exactly certain what he was talking about there. It just doesn't really make sense. And then he also is talking about how our data is portrayed in the ADIP portal. When they showed the picture, which is again in your packet, it shows the runway slightly off of the runway. I know our runway didn't change, and so I'm not certain who made up the portal. And we didn't have any input on what went into that portal, so somewhere down the line, they didn't get their calculations correct because we've had the same coordinates
Well,
for as long as I could remember.
yeah, and I mean, it's airport runway 29, which is 290 degrees off north. And you can't fake that.
No,
You stand there in the middle and it is 290, because they used to fly. And so it's there. So
Yeah.
I don't know how they got that and how he said the airport's off because it's been 290 degrees the whole time. That looks like it's more like 300.
yeah, it's a considerable amount on that picture, so it's something that I'm going to be discussing with the inspector to figure out where that mistake came from. And, we do have to have something in place by, I believe, October 13th. And most of the answers I put in red in the packet that you have in front of you on what we're gonna put in for our plan that we have to submit to them.
He also has runways too long, whoever put that overlay on it.
I guess I'm confused on why we have to do any of this. Like, if our obligations are fulfilled. If they don't trim the trees and the airport gets closed, that's on them, right?
Yes and no, we still own it,
Right. Haven't gotten paperwork yet. They've just done the LLC.
so,
And if we lease it, we still own it.
Yeah.
They just are renting it.
until it's completely out of our name, we are still required to.
Yeah.
Now, we could close the airport ourselves, and then this would be a moot point, but we'd have to do that prior to October 13th, when we have to have a plan in place.
This is just a lot of like what we were getting out of the business of. We were getting out of the business of owning an airport because. Now we have more trees to trim and we have to do more stuff, and it's like. We fulfilled our obligation and we were gonna close it 2 years ago, so. I don't see it as a priority for us. I mean, if,
The only thing we really have to do is Jerry's going to trim the trees. Everything else Tom's taking care of, minus the things that, you know, like I said, I don't believe we need a variance and we didn't change our runway, so they need to change their,
But if we force them to cut the trees, then they'll move quicker.
what do you,
The airport people.
I don't know how much work that is to trim.
They don't know it, so they don't own it yet.
Yeah, but at least,
They haven't leased it yet.
That's the problem.
usually you're-
We
you're-
keep letting them slide on the lease and everything else.
Well, we're
I
not
thought
letting them
this-
slide, their attorney's gotta submit it.
Well, we have to.
I know. The problem with the airport is we have talked with them for over 2 years to get this closed and we haven't dragged our feet. They have dragged their feet.
like if you lease someone a house and you say that cutting in the grass and snow removal is on you,
Right.
you have to cut the grass.
Well,
You know, and if you don't, the village writes you a ticket.
for it, but if they don't, you know, and I think that should be part of the lease, if we lease it to them, that they should be financially responsible for any of the upkeep like that, that pertains strictly to the airport.
they have maintained all the maintenance.
Yeah, but we're still paying for lights on the airport and everything else,
We pay for lights and insurance.
insurance, right?
And they reimburse that already. for
Not
this year.
the utilities.
They reimburse the insurance. for
Right,
this year.
not
We
utilities.
pay $50, I think, less, I think we pay like $600 a year in lights.
But that's just another step. The other thing I'd like to see, if we sell the airport, which it sounds like we're eventually gonna do, I want some kind of clauses, if they close the airport, the property comes back to us, because they shouldn't be able to gain on that and be able to put up condos or whatever they want over there.
Yeah.
I think that should come back to us.
Tim talked about a clawback, like there
Absolutely.
would be a clawback, like if you know, let the airport go and it ceased to exist, then it reverts back to us.
Yeah,
That's gotta be part of the agreement.
right.
The current lease as it's written does not include that.
Well, this would be an ownership transfer is what we're talking about. if-
Right, I get that, yes, but right now, none of that has been shared with the pilots as far as what those expectations are.
But if I would have been when Tim was there, because Tim did say he was gonna make a part of that.
No.
Yeah, he did. Tim said.
He said he did not do it. He just didn't get to it, things happened, and he was unable to complete that task.
Okay,
We need to get this thing brushed up and but move forward.
So you gotta take the whole trees down, or what do we gotta do there?
just gotta cut the tops off,
Yeah,
cause it's over the threshold when you come in on the glide path.
How do you cut the tops off?
That's what they did last time.
yeah.
Well, Jerry's gonna climb the tree and just cut the top.
Yeah, Jerry's gonna be get a big trampoline.
We actually could just drop the trees. There's no
Yeah.
lines there and there's no houses, so that he's gonna be able to just drop them.
Gary, let me know when you're gonna do it. I'll get insurance on you.
Yeah.
My life.
Roof insurance.
I'm
just in case.
trying to, I mean, it sounds like you got your hands full cleaning up our own stuff, like, I mean, this is just bogging you down, if anything, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, what they're showing is, just basically, you actually look down there, you can see the ones that they're talking about.
Yeah, I see the line, that's what,
Yeah.
I mean, that looks like a lot of trees.
I cut a hole to go back in there and it's quite a path, but. I think it can be trimmed off, if they need to. They're just gonna drop some trees.
I guess I just want to reinstate, since the first day.
Is that
I
a
came
day's
on-
job, do you think, or is that something that's gonna be a week, burning up a week of your time? That's kind of what we're.
Couple days probably.
I guess what I want to say is, since the first day I came on this council, I let the council know that I was against the airport and I wanted to close down. So that's gonna be 12 years this year. 12 years of them back and forth, back and forth.
And that's what, when I went through the minutes, I was looking for a specific motion. And there's been no motion made. And no real direction to go off of. I mean, I know what some of the minutes have said. I know what the intent was, but there was no direct. This is what needs to happen by this date. Correct, there was no motion and. Without a motion or, technically, we shouldn't have given the airport, the option to get their own lease. Our attorney should have drafted the lease, we should have given it to them. They could have signed it and we could have moved on, but because that's not the way we, did it. They already have money into drafting a lease with their attorney, so we have to, in theory, we have to let that now.
Well, I guess
Play
I'd
out.
like to put it on the agenda next meeting that we move forward on this thing and not sit around anymore. And I don't mean you sitting around, I'm talking about us as a whole, the council. Let's get it.
Well, we gotta get the lease from them and then
Then if we want to change it, which.
then we'll do that, yeah.
But wait a minute, the lease may not come for another 2-3 months. We should have the lease within a month. Dave, we should be able to force that. I mean, we waited 12 years now. Why do we keep going month to month with
Well,
control?
In all fairness, you've waited 12 years,
Right.
not everybody was in
Okay,
favor,
yes.
okay? So,
But
yeah,
a lot of people were in
we've done
favor
that.
4 years ago. though.
Oh, yeah, no,
Okay.
I'm not
so,
saying-
I mean, 4 years even, that's ridiculous.
well, yeah,
That's ridiculous, so I think.
we had airport people on the council at one time. And it wasn't unanimous, as I recall.
Well, you're right, at 12 years ago, but 4 years ago, I think,
Well, that's where we came up with the lease thing, but we've heard in part of that ourselves. We have some responsibility of that too, because we never went through with any
Right.
motions or anything.
and that's what I wanna do, is let's do the
Yeah.
motions next month to move forward. Let's set the deadlines.
Yeah, I was just saying that I prioritized Jerry's time, clearing up our roadways and the stuff he's been working on, before winter over trimming trees for the airport. I mean, they have a temporary thing. If they don't get it done by October 31st, that's on them. I guess we're closed. I guess the deal's dead.
I will have to look in to make sure that there's no fallback on us or any sort of fines for not doing that it just closes the airport. Because if it does just close the airport, that's an option that the council could entertain, but
I mean, if it
again,
really
we would need a motion to that effect to not follow through with this, and if we're trying to lease and or sell, that may not be received well by the airport association, so. It's really what the
Yeah.
council's pleasure is, and that can all be discussed next month, or how you guys want to deal, I could talk to them, see what
Well,
the
Paul's right.
ramifications are.
Yeah,
If we don't follow through with this and don't give them a plan, I can find out what the ramifications are for us as
Yeah,
a municipality.
that would be nice to know regardless, because this isn't a done deal until it's a done deal anyhow.
right,
So I think that's pertinent information to have moving forward regardless of how it pans out, yeah.
right.
there's other, what about the other unsatisfactory marks that we got on there? Whose responsibilities are those?
This is all if the airport is to remain open.
There was only, I was gonna say, I thought there was only 5 that failed us, and that was the
Yeah.
parking, the identification, the lighting, the records, and the obstruction. So Tom's already taken care of 2 and 3. He already put the signs up that were required for that. The runway lighting, like I said, it's been there for many years, and I'm not certain why
20 years at least.
they would need to have something changed now when it's past inspection every other year. And then the records is the same thing. So the only one here that needs to be taken care of would be the trees, and and I agree with you, Brent, if it was gonna take Jerry and the crew a tremendous amount of time, then that would be silly, but 2 days worth of work. That's,
Yeah, I know we've been talking about this hot and heavy, and we tried to give them the property 4 years ago. The fact that it's still in our name isn't our fault.
right, but 4 years ago, we couldn't because we still had the grant, so.
See, we
Yeah.
had to wait till that grant.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
We wanted to, and then now we actually have to finish up the grant.
Right.
I don't remember what year it was, maybe 24.
No, 20, it ended last year, it ended in 2025.
December 31st.
Because the tree cutting grant was the last grant, and that was in 2025, or 2005 is when we got that grant, and then it was 20 years from that. So. And October is where I found the discussion the small discussion, even though we've had multiple, but October is where I found the discussion on
Of what year?
2025. Of what we were talking about doing with the lease and if they needed to pay the insurance or didn't need to pay the insurance.
So even without a motion, they did pay the insurance.
They were correct.
Well, we just wanna make sure there's no ramifications. For us. That are work against our interests. We don't need to be in a battle. It's with their LLC or whatever.
Is there some on this side of the road that have to be cut? I see there's a 57-foot tree marked.
Yeah, he's very unclear on them.
I didn't see any.
Nah, he says on the
Yeah, I saw that picture.
east runway, but then he says something, yeah, he says something there.
Like, why is that pointed out?
I think 57 is above the threshold. Or below the threshold,
Oh,
I think it's gotta be 60 feet.
oh,
I'm going from
right.
50 years ago memory, but there's a certain threshold you have to be able to come in and apply
You're
that.
saying the other side,
On the underside of Coldwater,
yeah. We've had that before,
but I think there's I don't know what the height is, I'm guessing it's 60 feet.
yeah,
He's only mentioned to cut those down and he's just warning us that those are only 3 feet short. That's the way I read it. And look at, even in that, he's got 2, 9 and 110 and 11, so.
Yeah.
It's pretty hard to put the airport in the wrong spot.
Yeah.
So there are some things that have to be cleared up with this guy's report,
yes,
is what you're saying?
yes.
All right,
I will put it on the agenda for next month and I will check with them on the ramifications of not completing these, and I will check with Tom on his status,
and he's gotta
that we have to.
get a fire under him
Yep.
to get his lease thing done, so our lawyer can look at it and we can
Yes.
say, no, or yeah, no.
Yes,
Okay. Anything else on this? Okay, new business. Ordinance 2026-03 park entrance adjacent lots.
the last few months, the planning commission has been working on an ordinance. They recommended this final ordinance to you. This will allow garages to be constructed on the lots that are separated by a park entrance, the 10-foot easement into a park. Right now, we allow garages across the road. They have to permanently combine. And we did have a person interested in building across the easement, but because we didn't consider it to be contiguous and we didn't put an easement language into that ordinance where garages across the street were accepted, they were denied. In the language for the deed restriction, it would say, you know, this excludes the 10-foot easement. The association, if they wanted to, could put a fence on either side, so their easement is clearly marked. But this would just allow that garage on the lot next to them, should they own both lots.
Now, does this person, we're doing this because of one individual, right? No?
No, they don't actually own that lot yet. They wanted to buy it, but then found out that they couldn't put a garage there. And it's not specific to the picture that you're seeing. That's just an example of one of the
Okay, I got it.
one of the easements and how it would happen. So the house would be on one side, the garage would be on the other.
We've talked about this before.
Yeah.
I mean, was it a variance or something?
They couldn't do it. They ended up not being able to do it because our
Yes.
code.
Yeah, and they asked for a variance, I think the zoning commission denied it, is what I think happened, right?
They didn't end up going to
They
the.
didn't get that far,
Mhm.
okay?
Because it would have been a self-created problem. They bought the land fully knowing that it didn't conform to our ordinance. So instead of buying it, they just opted not to do it, but it brought up a good point, which is why the planning commission went back and decided,
Let's do
let's do
this.
this.
Yeah, I fully supported it.
Yeah.
I mean,
This is a good
a
idea.
right of way is a right of way to me.
So, okay. You want to introduce for public hearing next meeting?
Sure.
Introduced by PV for public hearing. Next meeting. Anybody else? Okay, bank account closure resolution.
Our sewer escrow fund, which we've had since I believe 1999 or 2000, it's been there since I've been here.
Yeah.
It was an account that originated in 74, with the original developers. It was meant to, they took money in to build a sewer, and then they went bankrupt. And then when we became a village, we took the management of that account over. We ended up getting a consent judgment, an amended consent judgment in 2005 that allowed us to use it for water studies and other studies, when we were lifting the restrictions for well and septic in Lake Isabella. And also it's also allowed us to test at the parks for different
E. coli.
and such. We now have depleted the funds in that account, and it is no longer a viable account. So I believe there's about $7 left in it, and at this time, we need to have a formal resolution to close the account.
Where do you put the 7?
We move it to general fund.
So, anybody want to make the motion?
I'll make a motion to close the account.
I'll second it.
Motion made by Latte to close the bank resolution. We didn't have a number on it, do we?
2026-13.
Yeah.
2026-13. And there's been a second by Latte. Did I say that?
Yeah.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, this is a roll call, please.
Robert Laraway,
Yes.
Brent Peavy,
Yes.
Carol Shannon, yes. Paul Cooney,
Yes.
Joe Latte,
Yes.
Dave Torgerson.
Yes, motion carries 6-0. Public comment?
Just got one thing regarding the airport lease. Since the airport is actually owned by the village, the runway, and I'm assuming our name is on the easement. With a trees area and stuff like that, I would strongly recommend that the council and or manager, along with our village lawyer, be the one that draws up the lease, gets all the wording in the lease and done. Obviously with some input from the airport people, but because we own it, we're the landlord, as far as I'm concerned, it should be our responsibility to draw up that lease and get the wording the way we want it. Instead of letting them do what they want, because I'm assuming they're gonna do, you know, whatever caveats are in there that are gonna benefit them. I don't want that to come back and bite us. So I would recommend that you guys take on and do the lease, and I agree with Paul, that should be something that's done within a 30-day, 45-day notice to get it done and get it, instead of all the dilly-dallying that we've dealt with over the years. My 2 cents.
That's basically what he's doing, right? Isn't Cliff talking to him, their lawyer?
Their lawyer did contact Cliff. Yes.
Okay. That doesn't mean Cliff couldn't draw one up too. But it's easier if their lawyer draws one up and then we go through it and change it the way we want it. But,
It's not have an attorney, but there's gonna be a fee for that, obviously, or, you know.
well, yeah,
This is given, yeah.
all right. Any others? Nobody else. Okay. Any council comments?
I thought I watched the planning commission's last meeting, and I mean, I just wanted to give them a shout out. They seem like they're kind of dealing with a lot of issues and just ongoing stuff there, so. Yeah, it just seems like that was a long meeting and it was a lot of work, and just I watched it and thought they're doing a good job.
Do a lot of work.
Yeah, for sure. There's some upset people and people get pretty fired up.
That's big.
Yeah.
We
Anything
can
else?
deal with that here
Yeah.
too. It's, you
Oh
know,
yeah, I forgot you're on it.
it's a
There you
good,
go.
Anybody else? Okay. Announcements.
We have a Lake Restoration Committee meeting on July 28th at 4 P.M. We have our first Fireworks Committee meeting on July 28th at 6 P.M. We do have a Zoning Board of Appeals meeting on August 10th at 5:30 P.M. Our next Planning Commission is August 11th at 7 P.M. And our next Village Council is August 18th at 7 P.M.
All right. Anything else for the good of the order? We are adjourned.